So I'm going to really just ask you all a question now. Out of all these names that we're seeing out on the TV and we're being shown all on these platforms and social media and all the videos we've learned, who's the most evil? Who's the most evil one that you can think of? And I really want you to be honest. Who's the most evil? Pope is evil. Okay? King Charlie. Keep coming, people, because I'm hoping this snaps people out of it already. Who's the most evil people that we're being shown? So we've got the Pope and King Charles. It's really going to snap people out of it. Who else? And again, you can say Tom Hanks, Oprah, the most evil. Who else we got, peeps? William, Anita, the most evil, William. Okay. Obama probably mentioned most on the board. Thank you, Linda. Those we have never heard of. The hidden elite. Okay. Give me an example what these hidden elite people do as you define as most evil. Thank you, Susan. The truthers, Kim Warrior. But who? The most evil. The most evil. Think about it. Come on. Keep going. Keep going. Obama and Hillary Clinton, but she was taken out. So who's the most evil out there at the moment? Think about the world, not what you just know. All liars and deceivers, too many to name. The most evil, though. Obama. BlackRock. The most evil. Klaus Schwab. Okay, keep them coming. Kane. People that are alive. If we're fighting an enemy, who's the most evil out there? Who are we afraid of? Tony Blair. Keep coming. This is proven a massive point at the moment. The police, the big bad wolf, the Pope. Okay, the most evil, the devil. You could say the devil. I don't believe in the devil. People do, but well, it's a fictitious. It's lived backwards. Child traffickers and the sexual abusers, not afraid of. That's a bit better. The child traffickers and the child sexual abusers, the most evil. Give me a description of what evil is, because all I've got at the moment is Obama, Hillary, Klaus Schwab, Tony Blair. Can you imagine Tony Blair down the pub with a bunch of geezers? Who's the most evil in that pub? Come on, think about it. This is what is highlighting the point. We're stuck on the bloody movie. We're naming certain names that we've never even seen before. Let's get some more. I'm hoping this is starting to kick in. Can you see where I'm going with it? Pedos. Yeah, anyone that does anything to kids. But let's start, and this is what I'm saying. The plan is so amazing that not one person's mentioned any of this at the moment. It's done on purpose. Ourselves. You're not evil, Anita. Not even close to it. That's why you're here. I'm putting a confident shout out that in fact, everyone that's here is not evil. Cartels. Okay, now we're getting a bit more like it. Our America, which we live in. Again, it's too broad though. Our America. What is America? What is America? If you're on a plane and you're flying over some land, you look down. How do you know that's America versus anywhere else? Netanyahu. Okay, corporations, but evil people. Corporations. What are you talking about? Going into work, people in their tie and suits and stuff. Evil, the drug dealers. Okay, now we're speaking. Body sellers. Okay, now we're speaking. Start thinking about the movies. Start thinking about where people get chainsawed, cut up, people get buried alive, people get gangs, these sorts of things. Like the most evil drug dealers, all these boxing, underground fighting, dog, gypsy wrestling, all this stuff. The system, pharmaceutical. I'm talking about people do crime, assassins, hitmen. Think about someone, and this is what I was trying to use what films would describe evil. So we've had cartels, fake Republican. So these fake Republicans and stuff, they're in an evil system. They're corrupt. They've mostly got an evil mentality of some sort to do certain things. But I'm talking about evil of evil. Traffickers, the media. Again, we can control that. But can you see? There's all these different names you told me. Not one of them do I look at and go, "Oh, I'm scared." Oh shit! I wouldn't want to be in a room with them. I wouldn't look into their eyes. So now start thinking about the world that we live in, and start using some of these films. Let's just go for drug dealers and these drug organizations. And you've got the kingpins. Again, this is why I encourage people, go watch Fear City. Go look how they ran New York, the mob, the mafia. Then you hear about ISIS. No one even mentioned ISIS. And these terrorists that go and kill barbarically. They kidnap, they torture. People like in the movie Hostel, now we're talking. Drug dealers, human traffickers, Planned Parenthood. Yeah, I'd say that's evil. Alcohol and drugs. That gets people in a state where they're susceptible for that sort of thing. But when people said like the movie Hostel, and you see horrible stuff, and people's teeth get kicked on the curb, and the devil again, I'm not having the devil. All these are made up characters. I'm talking about real life stuff. Do you know why we don't know and we can't answer it so easy? Because we've never been around it, or most of us have not been around it. We're not shown it because they don't want us to be scared about how bad this world is. The entities we can't see or know about demons. Yeah, and I agree with that too, but I'm talking about rough gangsters, criminals, people with weapons, people with machetes, people that go into houses, baseball bats, people that chain you up, people cut your fingers off. Think about all the different things that you kind of hear about in the films. And then, yeah, the kids and the way they torture and abuse, and you got the sick people. Like some pedophiles, you would say they're fucked in the head. You say to do that to a kid, that's awful. But they're not evil beyond evil, some of them. They're just deranged, and they need to be, in my opinion, put down if you're doing stuff with kids. And I'm talking about the ones where you just wouldn't even go near them. Bayless mercenaries. Yeah, so you can start seeing we're still our description is still not great of it. And it just shows you we don't know evil. So this has all come from, and it's helped me connect more and more dots now. So farmers allowing poisoning, yeah, all those things. And you can see there's different aspects of evil. So what you are all right about is everything you said and the people you named and stuff like this is still part of the system. So it's a lot easier to accept when it's an evil system. We're exposing all of that. If we look at the world we live in at the moment, and let's forget the truth movement, let's forget the Donald Trump and the deep state and all that. Let's go back into everyday society. I like using the city of London. And if you then go in the suburbs of London, and then you look at all the different estates and the blocks, and you hear about the gangs and people that cut your wrist off for your watch, and people that are kidnap you, put you in the back of a van, throw you into the forest. Can you imagine like some of the awful, awful stuff? Some people participate in SRA hunting parties, yeah, unknown. So again, we've got to keep stretching our imagination because most of us don't have a clue. So when we keep saying then Tom Hanks, most evil person out of them all, evil the evil, and then I'm looking at you need to go and watch actually. Let me just come back onto it because this is a must watch because it will, and the timing it's come out at the moment. Okay, so I'm hoping to get my point clear and it will make more sense. Go onto Netflix and it's a must watch. It's called The Gentleman. It's just come out. It's Guy Richie. Guy Ritchie's done so many films now showing us in plain sight, but it shows you a whole drug operation, massive operations that take place all over the UK, and it's cleverly done. You see it from different perspectives, but you'll see what else there is out there, and all the different underground activities and the underground fighting. And if you've done something wrong, someone turns up your house with a shotgun, or someone comes around your house with a machete, you get drugs are stolen, things are blown up. Everything that we've seen on the movies, that's evil. Where is that? If we're like, oh, Obama, all the Pope, all they're not evil compared to what we're seeing in real life. What we don't see, that stuff happens. It's hidden from us because it's so evil, you wouldn't want to be out at all. So The Gentleman is 8-part series, and this guy who's in the military gets left inheritance, like this massive estate. And it's really helped me connect so many dots to a lot of the people in my life. I keep talking about the truth movement, and there's a lot of truthers. They're not on the right team. I know that a lot of them have been involved in trafficking, and there's a whole operation that takes place where they're all linked. And the clever criminals are the ones that have the knowledge of what's going on. They have a manpower and resources where they work with each other. They plan situations like environments. They set people up. They know how to get your information very quickly. They are people that then try to infiltrate your groups and try to be friendly with you, but all they're doing is getting information on you of your whereabouts, passwords, etc. So there's crime all over. A lot of you on the Telegram groups where you get spammed all the time. All these different people with gold, Bitcoin, XRP. You know it's spamming, and you know there's a lot of corruption in those groups because they're relentless, they're continuous. In the truth movement, you can see, someone mentioned earlier, they are starting to turn on each other because they know what's going on, and they stay away from the Q post because the Q post told us what's already happened. The reason why this is so clever, because what already happened when Donald Trump come in was the highest levels. So a lot of the names that people were saying, Saudis, you saw it take place straight away. November 2017, big arrests started taking place. We go back to 1983, and when they took down the mob, that was the highest of the crime families, the big bosses. Then if you can start thinking about every city, every town, every neighborhood, every school, every part of society, there's criminal activities going on. It's mafia run, it's big drug operation, big organizations. So this guy inherits a loads of stuff, and it's like a rich old estate, and he's been left everything with his family. And in the farm, and this is where farmers come in, underneath the farm is a massive cannabis setup. He was renting this space to keep quiet, and this whole cannabis operation was running underneath, and he made his money every year, but he died. And then the son finds out about it. And you see how clever it is. This whole thing is showing you what is going on. So there's a war on drugs, and it's been continuous. Cannabis is a plant, and it should never be illegal. But what people now have to start seeing, because it's a money maker, and the reason why I now know it's been made illegal is because it's not the plant itself, it's the organizations and the criminals that run these operations, the gangs that run these operations, the mafia that control all of this shipment around the world. And my whole life, I've met a lot of corrupt people. And as I've shared my journey with you, I know that certain people are coming to my life for a reason. A big link to all of that is cannabis. I've met all sorts of people. And I met a lot of growers of cannabis. And this is where the system, when you watch that program, there's good people on that program that are now stuck in the system working for them, like growing cannabis. And you're not getting out of things like that. So people do things and get stuck. I'm convinced there's a few people on this call that are kind of in that position, maybe in another way. or there's a loved one that have got in trouble, and you have to do what you can to keep them safe, which means you have to do other things to make that happen. This shows you every aspect of this. What it also shows you is the people involved with this stuff. They're naughty people. They'll go round and kill you. They'll go intimidate. They'll go and corrupt you. What also was really powerful on it is that secrets, especially some of the worst secrets, which is how this whole crime syndicate works, they use it as leverage and blackmail. And the higher up you go, the dirtier and evil you've done, because then you've got more dirt on everyone else underneath you. What you start seeing is that cannabis is all the operations that go with it. And these gangsters, and they are gangsters, it shows you quite a good reference of this underground world, massive one. And you'll start appreciating, and you see evil, guys that don't give a shit, hard nuts, scum, just trouble. That stuff has been going on now. Well, we don't know, and we wouldn't really know unless you're at the elites making ridiculous money, or you're very influential, and these people want a bit of you. They want your watch, they want your car, they want what you've got, your business. So they get matched with you, they get set up because they want to corrupt you and take over. You see all that in there. You see how everyone's trying to outdo each other. Everyone's on edge. Everyone there's a respect, but also there's no trust. There's betrayals. There's people turning on each other. And the thing is, we're being showed what we should know. So we're all watching the right stuff. But this is why the pep talk was to come in today, for people to let go of the moaning and the Tom Hanks and the Ellen DeGeneres. They're the evil ones. Start looking at what goes on in our world. We don't get shown murders every day on the TV. We don't get shown rapes, and we don't get shown cutting ups and stuff. We get a few different glimpses of things every now and then. And look what this immigrant's done. We're seeing quite a lot of that at the moment. We're getting shown certain things, but they keep us away from how all this operation works. So when I hear people talk about EBS and the scare event and the blackout, what do people think is going to happen? Because if we're clearing out evil, there's still a lot of evil that's operating. And these gangs are not going to sit down and watch any TV programs. They're not going to sit down and watch me live for an hour and a half. They're not going to pay attention to any of that. They're going to continue hustling. What they do look at, though, is the outside world. So they look at the news, they look at the markets, they'll have their own sources of information. They're definitely looking at Bitcoin and stuff at the moment as well. But they're also all on technology. They're all on phones. They're all using internet. So all their stuff is being watched. All of it's being monitored. And what we're seeing now, and it has been for the last 10 years or so, more and more cannabis is coming mainstream. There was a big push for CBD. Then we're starting to see more cannabis is being legalized in a lot of states in America. And there's a big push now on the medicinal side. And the reason why we're seeing that more and more is because evil at the highest levels is being cleared out. And that operation's been taking place all around the world ever since Donald Trump come in. So the more they start getting all their funds taken out for other things, and you can just check out the sanctions that Donald Trump put on all these countries, which are still in place, and you can start seeing that some of the big players have been taken out. More and more of these criminals are finding other ways to make money. So the underground war, I promise you there's going to be a lot on all these underground cannabis labs all around the country, all around the world. And I know about cannabis growers because I had some mates that used to love it, and they were very good at it. And they used to tell me how there was a lot of things that went into growing cannabis, and you do these big grows, and they used to rent out houses. Then you had to be more careful because the electricity bill would go up, and then the electricity companies now would have a flag on the system. People get busted. Then people found out that the house was giving up too much heat. And then when helicopters would fly by, you would see quite easily there's houses doing stuff. Then you've obviously got the smell. I used to make cannabis oil with a friend, and he did it, or I used to help, but he used to do 24-hour nights sometimes, just all the way through, and it stunk in certain places, and it was really interesting. You have to wear a gas mask. So I've had a lot of experience in there, and what people used to then do is have underground lightings, and they'd have all different places. And my friend used to tell me about the Albanians were so good at growing cannabis that they would rent out a house, and even in the drawers, they would use every bit of space possible. There'd be a plant in, and there'd be a plant in. This don't make sense for people that haven't looked into this. If you watch The Gentleman, you'll see what I mean. They're big operations. They were doing it in these big, massive houses, and in this one case, they were doing it under the farm. If I was to ask you, like the recent farmers, where's those protests been in Europe? What country? And what on this program you had all the big houses around, like royal heritage passed on. Movie Snatch is a good example. Thank you, Gaz. And again, that's Guy Richie. The underground fighting, and they burn Mikey's mum alive in the caravan, getting to fight violence. So you mentioned Gaz, uh, Snatch, the movie, and you see that they're ruthless. That's in real life. You obviously know that takes place in real life. These people have been all over the place. We wouldn't see them. So when it's the war and Donald Trump's taking down the deep state, we're looking at Obama stuff. All of these gangs are getting dealt with. The ones that actually do have the metal with the knives, the weaponry, that do not give a flying F at all. Horrible, evil, and we're talking about spraying skies. This is and this is the distraction, which I'm saying. Is it good to speak about the skies? Yeah. Is it a big thing? No. They're spraying the skies. There's a reason, because we're in control. Just type in military, spray the skies, 5G. Military, spray the skies, weapon. It's quite obvious when you see what they say about that. It's a weapon. So they're taking out a lot of these gangs, these criminals. If you've watched 2000 Mules and geofencing, in these programs, you see all the cannabis centers now all underground. But you would also be able to check geofencing, cellular activity, and you can follow that phone and you can go and locate wherever it's been. You see the whole journeys of it. So all these people are being watched. Yeah, mafia. The mafia films that we've been shown with the Italian mafia and stuff, we just look at that as Hollywood. That was Hollywood showing us, look at what goes on. Look at the operation. Remember Scarface? Yeah, that takes place. Look at Narcos. Look at El Chapo. All these gangs with military personnel with their guns and that kill anyone. They blow up cities and stuff. Narcos blew up a plane. So that's the evil. So the takedown is removing a lot of us from that world, coming out of it. So here's another thing. You got someone like Piers Morgan, or you got Tom Hanks, or you got Ellen DeGeneres, and on Twitter, everyone just goes at them. You see that, right? Imagine if you was finding out about these gangsters, these real gangsters. Everyone would be going after them on Twitter. People would be around their house blowing their brains out and stuff. Oh, please tell me about Lynn Woods. It's not Lynn Woods. The page that you see is not Lynn Woods. You don't see any videos of him. He's being used as well. The thing is, you take certain people with characters and you use them then to put out a message, to call out other people, to get people following along to the last part. We come back to that gentleman though, the cannabis farms, all underground. And I'm going to ask actually people, because I don't want to share the screen today. I really want people just to do a few searches while I'm on it. There is no evil. I'm not sure how you can say that in the world that we've been in. Someone said to the other day, and this is the other pep talk. Most of you should be okay with this bit. And I know I'm going from choppy back and forth. You have to watch The Gentleman. We'll come back onto that in a minute, because I still haven't finished what I wanted to say. And how's it going to go with that? Oh yeah, Obama. So people get really angry with Tom Hanks still. Still haven't watched any of my research on Tom Hanks, and all the people that tell you he's bad, that's meant to be a truther, won't even comment on and say why I am wrong on it. So you can't do that. But anyway, and Tom Hanks is just one example because it's going to be one of our biggest teachers. Yet when it comes to Obama, there's not really much anger. We know he's treasonous and he's a traitor and renegade and stuff. And we got to really start paying attention to what evil is, like selling out, giving people's locations away, whistleblowers, taking them out, silencing them, then funding terrorism, then sending our money to these places, like billions. All of this stuff is just a kind of tiny bit to it.